playing.
I bet.
Definitely missing playing. So you're playing... it's tonight, isn't it? The Albemarle. And you're on alto.
Yeah.
Have you had to... You play alto anyway, don't you, in the weekend?
Yeah, you know I do.
Yeah. So you don't have to, like... Because if I was playing tenor on a gig, I'd want to spend an hour that day just getting used to it again, because I don't play it that often. But you don't have that problem, do you? Because you're playing alto.
The problem is because I gig a lot on alto, is actually switching back to tenor.
Right. Get you. Yeah, well, that's so like me. Very much like me. They are different beasts, aren't they?
I did say 2023 was going to be the year of tenor, so
Really?
I did more big band stuff, and then weirdly enough, I'm now in a sax quartet again.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. On alto.
Is it the same one as before from Sheffield?
No.
Different one?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're a new beast.
Oh. I'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a full circle moment because I first started, as you know, so
Did you start on alto?
no.
Right.
I started on tenor.
Okay.
So what happened is I was a recorder player. The joy, that would have taken me far in life. Sorry to any recorder players out there.
Were you from Mexborough originally?
I lived in Conisbrough,
Right.
went to Mexborough school,
Okay.
was on recorder, then played acoustic guitar for a while. But my teacher probably struggled with me because I wasn't practicing, because I wasn't motivated. Okay. And then out the blue, my music teacher said, we're going to get some saxophones in. Do you want to have a go on a sax? So I was like, yeah, sure.
So how old are you at this point?
13, 14. But there wasn't any altos left because they all got...
Just pull your mic towards yourself a bit, Sarah. That's better.
Is that better? They all got cherry-picked.
Sorry, say that again. I was distracted by he that shall not be seen.
All right.
You were what age when you tried the sax?
13, I think.
Okay.
13, 14, year 8. So she was like, sorry, all the alto saxes have gone. All we've got is tenor.
Okay.
So I went in this cupboard and she opened up the case and it was like, fucking hell, that's a big instrument.
Yeah.
I've got the bus to catch because I wasn't living locally. So I started on tenor sax, and then probably a couple of months after that, your dad came with Simon Nixon to do the Building Better Big Bands project or whatever it was. So he brought a load of stage band type music.
Well, Si couldn't have been that old at that point.
No, he would have been, I think he was at Leeds College, so like 18, 20, something like that. So then obviously our big band formed and it got all right. Not obviously anything really, really great, but the good thing that your dad obviously did was like cherry pick out people that would be good for stage band. Yeah. So I was one of those.
So you got headhunted.
Yeah.
I like
it was all a vehicle.
Yeah. Well, of course it was. And it's worked. And here we are, how many years later?
More than 20.
Wow.
25.
25 years.
Yeah.
It's nuts, isn't it? And that's only half of the age of DYJA.
Yeah.
Because it's 51 this year.
Yeah.
Crazy. I was talking to Dad the other day, and we were obviously talking about all the great things that DYJA have done and accomplished in various guises. And I think one of the best things to come out of it, if you think about it, is that there's actually people that have been born as a result of DYJA. So obviously you met your partner at rehearsal.
Yeah.
And now you're married and you've got 2 kids who are now in DYJA, right?
Absolutely.
That's ace.
It's just one of those full circle moments. And with music education as it is at the minute, it's been a struggle.
It's crap, innit?
It is a really crap thing. So my eldest son plays piano. And so obviously from an ensemble point of view, there's not that many opportunities for him to play piano in a orchestra, like a traditional music vehicle.
Has he got groups at school?
No. So at the minute, he's actually been told he can't even take GCSE music this year because there's not enough numbers.
You're kidding?
No. 2,000 kids at their school and he can't take GCSE music.
That's bang out of order, that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So his music outlet is DYJA.
Well, why don't they... I mean, there's a music department, right?
Yeah.
Well, how many kids do you need to take a GCSE?
To make it viable, I think it's over 10.
That's bullshit, that.
Yeah.
When I was his age, I wanted to do Spanish GCSE and no one else wanted to do it. And the teacher said, if you come to me at lunchtime, I'll teach you Spanish GCSE.
They've offered to do it before school, but he's not up for that.
Why not?
Because he's got to because he'll be doing computer science and economics. So it's quite...
Yeah, full on.
Yeah.
What a shame that is. But that's just a state of the, sign of the
education.
times, isn't it? A state of education.
Yeah, so that kind of makes DYJA even more important. So even though, because we live in Rotherham, so we're driving from Rotherham to Doncaster for them to access it. But obviously all the experiences that their dad and me have had, it's like So yeah, so they're off to Hayton. So it's the first trip.
Are they doing that?
I think in 5 years. Yeah. So what Mark Saban's done at DYJA, which is really great, is he's opened out to everyone. So it doesn't matter your ability for this trip. They've
That's
not
a good idea.
It's swing orchestra, so foundation band, swing orchestra, DYJA. So it's like a conglomerate of everyone that wants to go.
More like the old exchanges we did with Northcliffe and stuff. Yeah, get you. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, and Elliot would have gone, my younger son, but it's his last week in primary school, so of all the weeks and to go, he's not going to go.
Are you going, or is Richard going?
No, just Ethan. He's got to, fend for himself. And
the exchanges and the tours, that's the best bit in it, I think.
Yeah, defo.
How many tours do you think you've done?
Crikey. Well, we did those DYJA ones, didn't we? It was like a weekend. I think I did 3 of those. And
the most recent stuff with DYJA, sorry, I get confused by the names now. Were you there when we went to France 3 times in a year?
Yeah.
That's about what, 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah. You have to kind of date it before kids or whatever.
So I forget. Richard's really good at that. He's got
he's
an
an encyclopedia
memory of all things DYJA and who did what and when. I remember like going to France as like, I don't know, probably the first one I did with Andre Jekyll.
Yeah.
Probably 14. And you'd stay at that hotel in, is it Parache?
I don't know.
Did you do this?
No, I didn't do that one.
And he'd give you 10 francs to go to McDonald's and stuff like that. Did you ever do any of those as a kid?
No, sadly not.
You must have just started afterwards when we were doing exchanges and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tours, they're the best bits. Do you remember doing animations? Do you remember them?
Yeah. Yeah, getting all the kids involved.
Yeah.
Coming over on percussion. But this is the thing again, in terms of like in a post-Brexit age that we're living in, this is another reason why it's really important for me, for my kids to be doing the German exchange, because it's just cultural awareness and opening of eyes of actually, and this is something, as a classroom teacher myself, I say this all the time when I'm teaching them to read music. This is something that you can go anywhere in the world and you can sit next to another musician and not even speak the same language, but you can sit in and play with other people.
Yeah.
And there's no barrier.
Yeah. Too right. Amen to that.
Absolutely.
Well, we've been there and lived that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you do the music bit, and then in the evenings, you still get on. I mean, how many times does it happen where a child doesn't want to go on a trip, they're really nervous, don't want to go, and then 5 days later, they're crying their eyes out because they don't want to come home. It happens. I've seen it happen so many times.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant to see that these kids that are young, they're maybe leaving home for the first time without their parents.
Absolutely.
Foreign language, foreign food.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, through music, they make friends for life. I mean, we've both got friends for life. We've been to France multiple times outside of music to our friends' weddings and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
They come here, and that wouldn't have happened without
Even my first
DYJA.
German homestay, Susie, we're still friends. And
Oh, yeah.
She checks in on me every so often. I check in on her.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So you did the Hayton thing then? Because I never did that.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, probably 3-4 times.
And that school, you have to play an instrument, don't you?
Yeah,
to
it's
go?
compulsory.
That's amazing. Why don't we have that over here?
The thing is, it's one of those things where there's pros and cons because they all do it, which is great. But then also, does that mean they're actually really invested in it, or are they doing it to tick a box?
Well, maybe, but does that really matter? If the
end
main thing
result
is
is
they
still
get to experience what it's like, to play an instrument, which is not easy.
Sure.
So you learn about dedication, practice, and all that.
All the soft skills.
Then they get to play in bands all the time.
Yeah.
So there's the teamwork
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
And then if you do want to get into music, you're in the perfect place. And if you don't, I mean, it's only like us having to do maths. I didn't want to do maths at school. We had to do it. So you did it. So why is it any different? Do you know what I mean?
I think there was a school in Doncaster, actually. So, Ridgewood School.
Yeah.
The head teacher there was the music teacher when I was at Mexborough. And so, again, obviously, depending on who's in charge of management will depend on what the focus is on the school. So because
Not the headmaster.
she was So she was a music teacher at my school when I was a student.
Right.
And she became a head teacher.
Okay.
So therefore, at Ridgewood, at the
right.
period of time that she was head teacher there, she had a massive push for music, funnily enough, because she knew the bigger skill of it all.
Yeah.
The involvement,
Whereas
the
if you're a head
dedication.
that hasn't experienced it,
Absolutely.
yeah, it is. It's a shame. I mean, I'm just glad that DYJA's still going. I know they've had to move. It sounds to me like it's working really well at XP.
It's bizarre how things have kind of just worked out.
Good.
And did you know that Bertha's moved there?
Who's Bertha?
Bertha the piano.
What, the big piano?
The grand piano is now
Have
at
they got a
XP
place
school.
for it?
Yeah.
Ace. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
We thought that was going to go into storage.
Yeah.
So that's actually out and people can use it.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
Ethan was using it at rehearsal.
Brilliant. Oh, that's good news. That is good news.
So the weird thing with XP, because obviously with me going there as a parent, dropping off the boys, is as soon as I walked in, all their branding is orange. And I know that sounds like a really small thing.
No,
but I was like, that's DYJA.
Yeah.
And, you know, that where they've got their rehearsal space, they're hoping that they can use it, because it's all tiered seating, they use it for assemblies and things, that it'd be like an informal concerts and stuff. So they're hoping to kind of do more to kind of bring music to XP, so it's not just a rehearsal space. So I don't know, they might do, like, obviously when they do the home leg for Hareton, it would be a great space for them to use to perform. That's like brilliant. They've got the glass house and things. And
I mean, I know it was sad to leave the centre, and, you know, I remember my last day there, you having a look round and all these memories, because I remember helping to build it and putting I remember putting this false ceiling up with Trevor and Pete up a ladder, and all those memories. But at the end of the day, DYJA's about the people and the kids and music, and you don't need to have a home for that. It'd be nice, but it's just not. It just wasn't cost effective to have that place. But I think the one good thing that I will say about the building is that our generation kind of got the best out of it when it was really busy. And,
massively so.
And we used every room, and there was stuff going on in there all day. But again, that was pre-austerity when music was big in schools, and now it's not.
Yeah.
So thank God there's still places like DYJA still open. But my worry is, I was talking, I don't know if it was Dad or Joe, there doesn't seem to be the kids coming through anymore as much because of the fact that it's not funded at the bottom end.
Absolutely, it's a barrier. So when I was at school, every single student, even though, like you've said, it wasn't compulsory, it was free. It was fully funded. So you could have a go at an instrument. Absolutely, Mexborough School was a deprived school, so the head teacher had allocated funds. So it meant that there was no financial barrier. We'd got instruments on loan in the store cupboard, you know, and then you could learn it. So so another full circle moment, so just rewind. So the school that I was a student at, I then became a teacher. That was my first teaching post.
Cool.
I know.
Is that weird?
Yeah, because there's all these staff members walking around, and I'm like, oh, hi, Mr. Coots. And they're like, all right, Sarah, you can call me by my first name. I'm like, no, I can't. You're Mr. Coots, and forever will be. But it was just bizarre timing. So do you want the longer story?
Yeah.
All right. So I didn't know that I wanted to be a teacher. I'd got no idea. And then I saw a job advertised for a supply teacher for music. And I was at that point doing a really boring admin job, really not getting anything in fulfillment. And so I phoned up the supply company and I was like, right, I'm a musician and I teach saxophone, but I'm not a classroom teacher. Please, can we have you on board? Because we've got, again, it's such a specialist subject. I can cover a French lesson, I can cover a geography lesson. But if you don't got in background in music, you can't cover it. Right. So anyway, long story short.
Have you got a degree in music?
Yes, music and French, music and English. Sorry.
So you've got the degree.
Yeah.
But you didn't have the teacher training.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. So I got the degree, but at that point, again, I didn't know that I wanted to do anything with it. It was I am good at this subject. I'll get a good degree out of it. Is that lazy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
So I got music and English as a degree, tick. And then, fell into teaching, did supply at a school because they needed a music teacher. They had another teacher there that did all the behaviour stuff because I didn't have a clue. But I was the one that could at least teach the kids about music. And then I think 2 weeks into me being there, Ofsted came.
Nice. No pressure.
No pressure. So it was just like, oh my God. So and then they said to me, oh, actually the music teacher that was going to started in January. We really like you and your approach. Do you want to do just general supply in the school and cover whatever we can give you? So they kept me on for 6 months.
And that's how it all started.
And I applied for a teaching post and, I applied to get on the teacher training post and they said, yeah, you've already got the experience. So I did my teacher training at Don Valley School. Colin Jobson there was like this proud guy going, everyone who does their GTP with me will get a job. You know, I've got 100% track record.
Yeah.
Okay. Fell pregnant in the January. So I was like, oh, I'm really sorry, Colin. No one's going to want me. So then I saw a 3-day-a-week job at Mexborough School.
Right.
Serendipity. It's like school that I was a teacher at, school I was a student at. It's part-time, so therefore logistically it could work. Applied for the post saying I'm pregnant and got the job.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I know.
It's funny how stuff works out sometimes, isn't it? So essentially what I'm hearing there is your kind of whole life in terms of your social life, your love life, your family life, your music, it's all as a result of someone saying, do you want to try tenor sax?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all stemmed from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, imagine if that hadn't have happened.
Yeah.
Where would you be now? Obviously,
my mum's got a
all
phrase.
ask that.
She's got a phrase that she uses for everything, and it's like, it's a meant to be moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a sliding doors thing that had my teacher not bought those saxophones, I probably would have jacked in my recorder and could have done anything.
And you'd still be doing a crappy admin job. Instead of playing all over the world with DJs and having 2 amazing kids and one really cool husband, I have to say. You've won the lottery there, haven't you?
Well, it's one of those things where you kind of hope that you're in the right place at the right time. And one of the things that I do teach in my sort of job at school with my sixth formers is just sometimes being in the right place in the right time, but having those kind of softer skills of taking a chance on a moment. You know, if you don't apply for that, you don't know what's going to happen for it. So, you know, me applying for that job and knowing that I was pregnant, you know, probably should have been a barrier, but I was like, well, I'll go for it. And I did. And I was successful.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. So we need to wrap stuff up in a bit. So, but I could talk for hours to you about this stuff, and you definitely got to come back because there's loads I want to talk about. But in terms of, you know, the band now, Doncaster Jazz Alumni, we won't talk about the album because I've done that with everybody else. But what about how do you see the future of Doncaster Jazz Alumni, which is basically all the old fogies that have moved through the association.
Can't get away, we come back.
Are currently in.
Yeah.
And now we've got the new band and it's basically, we're trying to, ultimately we want to still play great music together and do gigs, but what we're also trying to do is support DYJA financially and musically as well by maybe we'll do some workshops with them or some concerts or whatever. So, how do you, we know about the state of music education. It's, you know, it's not great. Thank God we've still got DYJA and other similar outlets. But how do you see DJA, what do you think the future is for that?
Again, it's like, I suppose it's a meant to be moment in the fact that what's happened is, you know, with the album, it's given us a chance to all kind of come back together again. We've all come home and it speaks volumes of the quality of the musicianship that we have there and obviously the charts that we have and of your dad and obviously now we've got Al on board, that we've got, you know, so many people that are wanting to come back and play. And, you know, it's not a case of, we've got a gig and we're trying to get people together. You know, we've got, obviously Kate's joined us again for the vocal stuff, which is amazing. It brings us another element.
She does percussion as well.
Does she?
Yeah. So when I thought about Kate, I thought,
Talents.
obviously John's in the band, so
well, you're not going to put her on a
sense.
little guiro, are you?
No, but originally what I thought was, I actually invited her to France, but she couldn't make it because she had some stuff on.
Sure.
And the thought behind that was, A, she can sing, and she's an amazing jazz singer.
Absolutely.
As you know.
Blown away.
But she's actually a trained percussionist. So I thought, well, she could do percussion on the Latin stuff.
Sure.
And then sing on the vocal stuff.
Yeah, so she's got something
So if she's not doing that, that's naughty. Kate, if you're watching, you should be playing that tambourine.
I've witnessed this.
Banging the bongos. You know, like Children of Sanchez and anything like that.
Yeah.
She needs
Well, we're
to
in
be...
France, we had Jules doing all of that, which was great. It just lifted it all up.
So yeah, that's partly why I thought it'd be great to have her in. But the fact that she's even involved is amazing because she's great.
So it's just the fact that I think we've got forward momentum now because for a while we sort of had this stagnation of we were still there, but we just sort of did Early Doncaster once a year and it was all like a flurry of rehearsals, quick, let's get them in.
What are we going to do? What are we going to play? Yeah.
So now we've obviously got the album and then we've obviously this year it's Bob Florence. Last year it was...
a tribute to Thad Jones.
Thad Jones stuff. Yeah. So we've kind of got these lovely themes that we can work with, which again brings us into kind of having a focus for that year. But it's just lovely to see that again at the rehearsals, we've just got the passion for it and all these amazing soloists that we've got that we can feature. So I don't know, it's just one of those exciting times where for a while it wasn't because of anything. It was just the circumstances, COVID and whatever. But now we've got this album. I think everyone's just kind of gone, oh my God, this is actually something special.
It is. I genuinely think it is really, 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 really amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it took long enough to get there. We talked about this with Dad recently. It was such a mammoth task because of COVID and, you know, people spread out all over the place. But it's come out really, really well. I don't actually listen to it that much.
Really?
No. I don't know why. I still feel like I've played it so much and practiced it so much. I still need a break.
Yeah,
from
you got to come
listening
back to it refreshed.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll have to put it on, actually. I'll have to stick it on in the car when I'm driving somewhere. But, I mean, obviously I've listened to it a lot, but not recently. But it's,
I must
it's
mention, sorry,
amazing.
that special moment for me driving home, and I was like, Richard, this sounds like Namer. Oh my God, it's this Namer. It's like, there it was.
It was on Jazz FM.
It was on Jazz FM.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on my car thing, it kind of scrolls across. It's like, there is Johnny Jazz alumni. Oh my God, this is us.
That
was
great.
a special moment.
The fact that you're even in the car and have the radio on and listening to Jazz FM.
On the literally driving the last
And you
minute of
didn't
our
know
journey.
It was going to be on.
No.
That's nuts. Again, moving doors, sliding doors, whatever you call it. Brilliant. So yeah, well anyway, we're going to have to get off, but good luck tonight in Hull. I hope it's a good gig.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And then we need to get this video out that we filmed in France.
That's great.
And then there's the next concert. Is it the 21st of April?
21st of April, which is Sunday. We're going back home and doing
To the
our
Earl of Doncaster.
Yeah.
Once again. So that'll be good. Right. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you soon.
All right, bye.